Imagine spending 10 years of your life in jail. That's 10 years. Let's think about what kind of actions could land you in prison for 10 years. Let's see, there's arson, burglary, breaking and entering, creating child pornography, carrying an unregistered lethal weapon, shit like that. Being violent, stealing from people, burning stuff down, being a pervert. Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't argue about any of that. You get up to 10 years in jail depending on the crime. Yeah, it makes sense. You're a criminal. How about being a journalist and documenting something happening around you? Do you think you should go to jail for that? Well, this is the exact situation that Justin Brake is facing over in Muskrat Falls in Labrador. It's a really funky situation. So there's this company called Nalcor, and they're building a dam in Labrador to create renewable energy. It's green, it's fantastic. The dam is supposed to generate 16.7 terawatts per hour. And I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a lot. I mean, obviously, it's worth the money. They're doing it. People have their support, blah, blah, blah. Now, here comes the problem with that. Peer-reviewed Harvard research, which I don't know fully what that means. It doesn't seem like somebody did direct research on this exact situation. It seems to me like they just kind of read it from a similar situation somewhere else. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Maybe somebody researched this exact situation. Anyway, the research is saying that flooding this much land with water is going to increase methyl mercury levels downstream, which isn't the best interest of the indigenous people there. So what do the indigenous people do? They protest. I mean, that kind of stuff goes well every time, right? And I'm not poking fun. That's sad. I mean, these are their rights. These are rights to their land that they're trying to always fight for, and they always seem to be on the losing end, and I don't think it's right. So basically, a peaceful protest was going down like a hunger strike, and they were marching up onto the work site despite an injunction to tell them to stay away from the work site. Amongst these people was Justin Brake, journalist. He live streamed the whole thing on Facebook and he went up there with them. It was a very peaceful event. The protesters were just speaking with the construction site workers and they were having a very well-educated conversation about the matter. No signs were getting burned. I don't think they were chanting even. It was totally peaceful. But not very good for Nalcor. This is not good business publicity. So basically, even though he wasn't the only person there, or not even part of the protest, just there documenting it, Justin Brake was arrested and is now being charged with mischief over $5,000 and could face 10 years in prison. Wow, man, 10 years for recording something that's happening around you. I mean, yeah, he was breaking the law along with the protesters. The injunction told him not to go there, but they went there. That's another debate for another time. The fact is, this guy's facing 10 years in prison, and he's probably not a bad guy. We can't even argue about what his interests were, if they were good or bad, because honestly, he's just documenting someone else's business. That's it. I mean, it's not like he's documenting child pornography. I mean, this is clearly a scare tactic to scare off the protesters. This is a prime example of when the system is broke. By the way, the charge against him is mischief over $5,000. I mean, maybe it's just me and my dumb brain and I'm a normal guy, but how do you put a price on mischief? I mean, like I could see like if you premeditated a bank heist and you're gonna take hundreds of thousands of dollars and you got caught. An FBI agent comes into your room and sees all your blueprints for this big bank heist. Yeah, I could see how you could be charged with mischief over $5,000 and face 10 years in prison because you were about to rob a bank. But what kind of mischief did this guy do that is valued over $5,000? I don't really understand. He literally was just following behind protesters with a phone. Jail. It's crazy, man. Jail is for rehabilitation. Jail is for people who are too dangerous for the rest of the world. They need to be off the streets and in prison. There's too many people in jail. And you're gonna throw this poor journalist in there? I just don't get it. Like an injunction to make people not go into a certain work site. It makes sense because they're probably doing, some form of construction, and it's not safe for people that don't have the proper attire. You don't get the hard hat, you don't get the work boots, and you're not in the union. Shit like that. But since when do people get jail time for basically trespassing? I know that I used to try to sneak on the work sites when they were putting pavement down so I could write my name in the cement. You know what I got? Hey! Oh shit! That's right, they told me to just get out of there. That's it. I mean, that's the usual steps, right? They tell you to leave, and if you don't leave, they call the cops, and then the cops try to get you to leave, and then more cops come with shields and pepper spray, and they force you back, and stuff like that. Work on the whole protest. How could they take this one guy and try to give him 10 years? This is kind of like when those people went to North Korea and that one dude stole a banner from somewhere, and he's facing like 60 years hard labor in North Korea. Like, wow! But newsflash, this isn't North Korea. This isn't even the US. This is Labrador! It's not even like Central Canada. This is the East Coast. We hold doors open for people. And when there's no people, we hold the doors for like 40 more seconds in case someone else might come. We politely let that guy go ahead of me at the Tim Hortons drive-thru line. And then that guy buys me a coffee for doing it. You don't see that shit anywhere else. How are you gonna throw this poor newfie in jail for 10 years for filming shit on his phone? Shit like this just adds to the loss of hope I have for humanity. Like over in Singapore, you're chewing gum, jail. You littered on the floor, jail. Possession of illegal drugs,
life in prison.
You were selling those drugs, death. But they know that shit, so they don't do that shit, so no one really gets in trouble. As far as I know, here, if it's happening around you, you can whip out your phone and record it. That's the age we live in. But no, Nalcor didn't like the bad publicity that's going on, so they gotta make an example. They gotta get rid of this guy so they can try to get rid of that footage too. So they said, go for him, get that guy, and give him the maximum. And then the lawyer comes out with his book and says, well, we can charge him with mischief, over $5,000. Shit, we could give him 10 years in prison. Yeah, no pussyfooting around. Do it. Anyway, this guy's trying to push to have the charges dropped, so, he has to appear in court, and we're gonna see what's going on with that. But that's crazy, man. Like, give the guy a fine. Apparently, Nalcor tweeted that it was a dangerous protest. But Break's footage, which we don't have, said otherwise. I don't know. You could debate the topic all day, but at the end of the day, does he really deserve 10 years in prison? Is this guy such a danger to the world where they have to take away 10 years of his life? Throw him in jail for 10 years? It just blows my mind, man. 10 years. That's a big chunk of your life, bro. For not being a criminal. Not a criminal. Technically broke the law, but in my book, not a criminal. He's not a criminal, but he's going to jail for 10 years, maybe. Blows my mind. I had to speak my piece about this. That shit scares me. What if I'm at the grocery store and I shop for the wrong thing? What if Sobeys gets some kind of crazy dragon fruit extreme and they have it on sale and they don't really know where they got it, but it's illegal? Maybe Sobeys didn't know. They're just kind of looking for deals in cool fruits. I see the cool dragon fruit extreme. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this dragon fruit extreme. I leave and just happen to stumble upon a cop who sees the dragon fruit extreme and says, that's illegal. And I get arrested? Maybe I'll get 10 years in prison for buying some fruit from Sobeys. It sounds crazy, but it's really not that crazy in comparison to what this guy's going through. We shouldn't have to tiptoe through life like this. Like, get the laws straight. Get the system right. I don't know, maybe someone else can shed a little more light on this and maybe enlighten me on how he deserves this much time in prison, or prison time at all, or even a fine. I don't know, I just feel like the next time a policeman ever tries to talk to me about anything, I'm probably just gonna curl up in a ball and get into the fetal position on the ground. Well, I guess I could just cross my fingers and hope I never go to prison. Yeah, that's the news. I'm out.